I love the Resident Evil series a lot, as you probably know if you've been watching the channel, but not all of the games in the series are hits, especially for me. So today, I'd like to take a look at my top 3 least favorite Resident Evil games, starting with number 3, Resident Evil 3 Remake. Yeah, this is a pretty popular one for people to dislike. However, I don't dislike this one for the same reasons I tend to see. Resident Evil 3 Remake, coming out after 2 Remake, had really big shoes to fill. And it doesn't come anywhere close to filling those shoes. One of the shortest releases in the series, the team behind this one tried to give it replayability. But this is where my biggest problem with the game lies. It isn't fun to play again. My first time through I enjoyed myself just fine, but each playthrough after that, and the cracks start to show. 3 Remake is just too bloated with linear sections and scripted encounters with Nemesis. Once you've played it once, there isn't any variety in future playthroughs. It's like doing a Dark Souls run back. Enemies are where you expect them to be, and encounters with Nemesis are the same each time. My problems with this game can be summarized with 3 points. Explorable areas are too small, too many scripted linear moments. Game feels like it ends before it even gets going. But don't worry, I don't just hate the remake. Number 2, Resident Evil 3. I don't actually dislike this one more than the remake, but I thought it'd be funny to put it after that for the segue. The original Resident Evil 3 is the only game in the series I've never replayed. Every other game in the series I've played and replayed several times over. However, I played this one as the last of the classics I hadn't played, and after that first playthrough finished, I never picked the game back up. While more fun than the remake, I really don't mesh with how Nemesis works. I've been told that the encounters with him are supposed to feel random, but honestly he doesn't feel any different than Mr. X in 2. Also, the split-second decision mechanic, it does nothing for me. The mechanic feels pointless, and I think Dino Crisis did this better. I feel similarly about the explorable areas in this one too. While I enjoy seeing the streets of Raccoon City, the areas you get to explore off these streets are just too small. Also, the original feels just as short as the remake. Alright, let's see if you can guess what my number 1 least favorite Resident Evil game is going to be. If you think you can guess, pause the video and let me know in the comments. Without further ado, number 1, Resident Evil 8. Yeah, I know. A lot of people love this one because of the vampire grandma or whatever. But I seriously have a lot of problems with this game. First of all, as a follow-up to Resident Evil 7, it again had big shoes to fill. And instead, both of its shoes fell off. This game feels like they made Resident Evil 7 again, and crossbred it with Resident Evil 4. Seriously. There isn't a single original idea in this game. Each area is just a reference to something we've already done before. The horror house area, Lucas's escape room, the lake, Resident Evil 4's lake, the village, Resident Evil 4's village, the industrial area, Resident Evil 4's industrial area, the castle. Do I really need to say? Also, I feel the trailer for this game was very deceptive. 2 things. 1, they make it look like the series was going to do paranormal stuff, which would have been different and cool. Instead, they explain all that away with a new virus that's basically just the Plaga. 2nd, the trailer made it look like the Romanian villagers were going to be more involved in the story. Instead, the game kills them all off within the first hour. Seriously, let's take a look at the trailer real quick so you can see what I mean.
No! Friendly! Friendly! Who are you? Who sent you? What's going on? They're coming. Who is?
Look at this thing I noticed under the house. All of these bodies were just asset reuse of the villagers that you watch get killed shortly after this scene. If you're gonna do this, Capcom, put burlap bags over their heads or something. It would have prevented obvious asset reuse from being noticed, and it would honestly make the scene creepier. 8, like 3 Remake, is a game I really enjoyed my first time through, but subsequent playthroughs started to show the cracks. Again, on a second playthrough, the game is too linear. The horror house part is only fun once. After that, it's a total snore fest to get through. The explorable areas are too few, too short, and too small. Also, the cast of villains. The main villain gets like 2 minutes of screen time before the final boss fight against her. Compare her to Osmond Sadler, or even Gideon from 9, and it's pathetic how they tried to play her up like this grand villain who's barely even in her own game. The rest of the villains barely get to do anything either, and only Heisenberg gets any amount of actual screen time. The game is like a theme park, where each zone is a different theme. You spend an hour in a place, and then move on. I don't just dislike Resident Evil 8. I hate it. I Resident Evil hate it. Thank God Resident Evil 9 is actually a good game again. Both Grace and Leon's sections actually have enough exploration and variety to be fun to replay, and to have multiple routes for tackling them. So there you go, my top 3 least favorite Resident Evil games. Were they the games you expected? Or were you surprised to see my picks? Let me know in the comments which games you don't like, and if you were entertained, consider liking the video, and maybe subscribing.